Now, Freedom Under Law is hoping the suspension of Public Protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane will motivate the JSC to recommend the suspension of Western Cape Judge President John Hlophe. The organisation says the JSC has failed to protect the integrity of the judiciary. Let's speak now to Johann Kriegler this morning. Johann, thank you so much for your time this morning. I mean, obviously, when it comes to the issue of Busisiwe Mkhwebane, now suspended Public Protector, many would say that even through the court system, it was found that the ruling and the judgment has got numerous faults. But I have to ask you this, would it be solely Busisiwe Mkhwebane's ruling as well as findings that are at fault, or the entire office of the Public Protector? Because as you would appreciate, she doesn't work alone, she's part of a team. So in that case, should the entire Public Protector's office not come under review?
Good morning to you, Faith. Good morning to the listeners. I think that the Constitution and the application now relate only to the person, to Advocate Mkhwebane, the Public Protector. It's not the whole office that is on trial. It is the person, the defaulting person, the person who the committee of Parliament has to decide whether, as defined in the Constitution, the person is, and I'm reading, guilty of misconduct, incapacity, or incompetence. Those are attributes attaching to an individual, not to an office. No doubt the new Public Protector will be looking at the existing staff and will probably be making arrangements for persons of his or her confidence, but that is to follow once the new person has taken over.
Yeah, and Johann, the reason why I ask this is because when it comes to even the process of selecting who's going to be the Public Protector and represent the public interest, right, it's also done so under the review of parliamentarians, right? So you've got the likes of the African National Congress, EFF, DA, and all the likes that are sitting in there and making a finality and a pronouncement on the very same Public Protector. So surely not just from a place of, whether or not you got, cases incorrectly, judgments incorrectly and the like, and findings incorrect, but we also have to look at even the politicians that allowed for this to happen and for so long. You were saying that 2019 should have really been the time that we actually place a cutoff. But surely when we're looking at it, even the very same parliamentarians that placed her there, that said she was good for the job, should also fall under some kind of accountability.
Well, they are under accountability tests when the election comes up. When the election gives the voters an opportunity to express their confidence in the people who have been in Parliament. They can decide, the voters, you and I, the people in whom the power vests, can decide whether the parliamentarians of the leading party or of another party have not behaved according to the voters' wishes, and they'll vote against them. But as far as the Public Protector is concerned, the disciplinary organisation in respect of that person is Parliament, is the lower house of Parliament, which has to take a two-thirds majority decision, and it then goes to the President for formal implementation.
Yeah. As we're talking here about also Busisiwe Mkhwebane, who's now suspended, there was also mention about Judge President John Hlophe, as well as how months ago, for example, he was found guilty of misconduct through the Constitution that makes a provision for the very same suspension pending impeachment. Are you saying that now that the Public Protector herself has faced the suspension, the same should be done for Judge President John Hlophe to preserve the judiciary and the integrity thereof?
Yes, we're actually saying now that we see there is suspension being implemented, the Public Protector should be reminded and should be urged and should be galvanized into doing what it should have done long ago. It should have dealt with Judge Hlophe much more quickly. It should not have taken 14 years after his misbehavior for the JSC to deal with him. But now that the JSC has found him guilty of gross misconduct and the process is for it to go to Parliament, now the President should certainly be asked to suspend the man while the process takes its further steps. We know from what has happened in the last 14 years that it may be several years still before Judge Hlophe's case comes before Parliament. He has a court case going at the moment. He's lost one. He's taking that on appeal. If he loses in the next court, he may well lose something else, may try to go to another court. It can be years. So while all of that is happening, Judge Hlophe, who is guilty of gross misconduct in trying to lobby two judges of the Constitutional Court, should not be sitting as the head of the judiciary in the Western Cape. That's simply what we are saying.
Why do you think that then he still is sitting in that judiciary? Why do you think it's taking so long before something tangibly is actually done?
Well, there are any number of possible reasons. I don't want to speculate about them. All I can say is if you look at the result, something very serious has gone wrong in the process of dealing with a defaulting judge. The circumstances speak for themselves. It cannot be right that the Supreme Court of Appeal said more than a decade ago, get on with the job, JSC, deal with this matter. And it took thereafter 10 years, and we now know that since the tribunal found Judge Hlophe guilty, it took nearly a year before the matter came before the Judicial Service Commission. It is now months since it confirmed the tribunal's finding and said, indeed, Judge Hlophe is guilty of gross misconduct and the matter must go to Parliament for him to be impeached. That is, for Parliament to decide whether he should be fired. The process is just too slow, whether it's because of incompetence, because of unwillingness, because of political pressure, who knows? But the result, the outcome, is grossly unsatisfactory.
Yeah. We have to leave it here. Johann Kriegler, thank you very much from Freedom Under Law for your time this morning.